I had a situation at work. Where I used to work. Now I work for myself and I don't have to do it. It's so delightful, I don't know. So, I have a man who wouldn't listen, who had his own agenda, who didn't give a lot of respect, and who was hard to communicate to. So, if you have a lot of things going on with the situation, what do you want to do? You just want to sit down and just go bullet point it out. I am angry that. He doesn't listen. I am angry that. And you just bullet through everything that you are angry about in that situation. You don't Christianize it. You don't say, oh, I have to be sweet about this. This is just your gut level reaction. This is your anger. And this is what you're feeling. And, let me ask you, if you think God's going to get upset with you, that you bullet point this out, are you thinking it anyway? Are you already thinking it?
Yes.
So does God know your heart and mind?
Yeah.
So if you write it down, is it now, step into something terrible? No, because this is processing. You are just processing through. I don't like the way I'm treated. I'm angry that I'm not listened to. I'm angry. So you go through. What happens in that process, and this is so critical, is that there's a flow to it, and then as you process it, then it drops off. Now you've got all your feeling out. You're not bouncing all over the place. You go, okay. You do the same thing with sadness. What about the situation makes you sad? Well, I'm sad I don't have a healthy relationship. I'm sad that I'm not respected. I'm really sad that I have to work here. I'm sad, whatever it may be. And you can go process through all of that. Once again, this ebb and flow effect takes place. Now, because I'm a D, I sometimes have to go, anger clicks in again. I have to go back and process my anger again. But here it comes. Then come over here. I'm afraid this is never going to change. I'm afraid that I'm getting angrier in the processes. I'm afraid that my Christian walk is beginning to show signs of anger. I'm afraid. Okay. Once again, there's an ebb and flow. Then finally go, what am I guilty about? Because guilty shadows everything, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. If you're feeling guilty. And a lot of times, the Holy Spirit helps you process what is false guilt and what is true guilt. Okay. Now after that, and if you look at my journals, you'll see. Yeah, I can show you pages where I've had to take this off. And then you ask this question. What is, in this situation, what is reasonable and what is unreasonable? And can I tell you that if you pull out of anger, sadness, fear, and guilt, and then you try to figure out what is reasonable and unreasonable, you will not come up with a good answer to that. Because the Holy Spirit is working with you the entire time through this. And as you get out all that emotion, as that begins to ebb and flow, goes down, and is processed, then Holy Spirit, with His great wisdom, comes into this and says, you know what, baby, this is reasonable here. And you may not feel comfortable at work right now. What is your reasonable response to this? Am I calling you there? Are you going to need to stay there? And I had to stay there for a while longer. And so I had to get back to life, joy, and peace, knowing that it didn't feel good to me there at that point in time. But it was reasonable for me to stay, and I needed to hang in there. Unreasonable is to walk around grumpy and ungracious and full of yuck and why am I here? Why am I on stage? That begins to become maybe an unreasonable thing. So I do this with everything that I get. My brain can't quite function all the way out, and I'm jumping all over the place, or if it's high emotion for me. If someone did something that was really hurtful or said something that was really hurtful, I immediately go to this. What am I angry about? What am I sad about? What scares me about this situation? Am I feeling guilt about anything? And a lot of times the Holy Spirit will go, well, you said this, or you acted this way, or, so the Holy Spirit can speak to you throughout this process. And then these are two key questions. What is reasonableness? What is unreasonableness? And this process has saved me over and over and again. Because at DI, can be reactive, and we can be impulsive. And, you know, impulse can ruin and hurt a lot of people if you're just talking out of an unprocessed heart and mind, you know. And then as you process this, then the Lord can bring you back up to love, joy, and peace, and you can stay there. So does anybody have any, you know, we don't want to call names or anything like that, but is there any situation that we could look at that we might process through?